All right, so you use the term 3, 6, 9, and 12 as the units that you need to install based on flow, correct?
3, 7, 9, and 12. It's not linear, but yeah.
3, 7, 9, and 12. Interesting. I mean, I was just looking at recently, and it's funny, Sil was talking about Tesla, but he considered the answer to all life was 3 and 6 as yin and yang, and 9 as the divine force that allowed life to happen. And so that's why when you keyed in on those numbers, I was like, whoa, this is getting fucking radically deep quick. But instead of 6, he's using 7. And
there's different power levels. We have 7 different power levels of transmitter too. So they're not all necessarily the same single transmitter. They're different power levels that are combined in different ways to achieve that the power needed for each flow rate.
So power. So does that mean added circuits or coils? Or again, we haven't even gotten into how you're doing this, but
no, I mean they're essentially, without giving too much away or saying the wrong thing, I would say the best analogy I can give is they're almost like flash charge, like a flash memory stick.
Okay.
They're essentially flashed with the programming of Kiminasi, those 3,000 frequency patterns. Are flashed into the transmitter, and then when they're attached, they're able to the electrical conductivity of it's enabling it to get into the thing, and then eventually those transmitters do run out of energy. So they are self-powered, but they're not necessarily like a transistor or a capacitor or something that's holding that charge. It's a different type of technology. And again, some of that's proprietary, and some of that's just stuff that I don't even necessarily know all the physics behind that, but it has the same type of a concept of a flash memory charge.
So you can buy the flash cards in 5, 10, 20, 50, 100 gigabytes, depending on what it is your flow rate requires.
Right.
And do the larger drives still burn out or fry at the same rate as the lower ones?
Yeah. Again, the way it actually works is, when we talk to a farmer, we say, okay, tell us your flow rate, tell us your acreage, like how much you're covering, tell us how often you're irrigating, like how many times per week or month or whatever, how long your irrigation cycle is, how many hours you're irrigating per cycle. And then we figure out the acreage, the total gallons that are likely to go through that system, and then the actual flow rate, which is how fast that water goes through at any given time. So we calculate all of that, and then we custom build the system according to those specifications. And we have all of those specifications all lined out. So it's not like you're just going to go to a hardware store and see 10 of our transmitters sitting on a shelf and say, oh, well, I need 5 of these, or I need 6 of these. That's not how it works. They're all custom designed for those specific pieces of information that the farmer gives us.
So if the farmer is overwatering, he's actually using more of this technology than he actually needs, correct? Or is that not?
Yeah, but it doesn't. Again, our technology is not like supercharging anything. Our technology is always just bringing those cellular patterns back to genetic optimum, basically. So you can't necessarily overstimulate with our technology. Okay. The only thing you can do is if the farmer is overwatering or if they're over fertilizing, usually is the bigger problem. When they're using way too much fertilizer, because our system makes the plants more efficient, you can actually over fertilize. And we usually recommend most farmers start with about 20% or sometimes 30% less fertilizer so that they don't overstimulate with too much chemical nutrients, because our system is going to make that plant a lot more efficient in how it uses those nutrients. So you don't really necessarily need as much as they're using.
So the only detriment to overwatering is the fact that they're going to burn this machine out quicker than they need to.
Yeah, but we usually build them a little bit stronger to make sure that they last, because we guarantee that they last for 2 years, and we take a water sample every 6 months to make sure that but we haven't really ever had a problem with that. So we always overbuild it a little bit just to make sure that the farmers can get that 2-year period out of it.
Got you.